The K-Shine versus Paz battle dropped not too long ago, and I gotta say, it was a pretty battle. It had its moments. So, first round, Paz went first, and he starts off really strong, talking about how when K-Shine raps, he raps real loud, but he's really not saying shit, and that he's just a little nigga. And, little niggas are known for being the loudest niggas that never do shit. Then he brings up the fact of, like, what the fuck is a dot mob when dot mob wasn't around when Mook was getting robbed. So basically, he did a really cute, like, G-Unit reference where he was talking about how Mook is 50, Rex is yayo, and how, K-Shine was a little bitch, like, if he ever went to jail, he bleached his hair, no peroxide. So it's cool. Then Paz did this really dope flip where he talked about a solar eclipse, and that's how you block shine, which I thought was pretty dope. I like the little line where he talked about how K-Shine is a little cheerleader because everybody knows that out of all the niggas in Dot Mob, he's like the biggest hype man for the niggas. That get 'em Rex, all that shit. K-Shine's known for that. So I thought that was dope too. Then Paz went on to talk about how Shine hasn't won a battle in 5 years and how he's watching, everybody else in the clique get bodies, and he's just basically there to cheer them on while they win. Which of course leads to the punchline, you ain't a killer, you just a witness, which was crazy. The setup to the punchline was crazy. So then he gets into this like play on words where he talks about FaceTime and how this beating that he's gonna put on K-Shine is gonna be so bad that he might face time. And how it ends up being like another setup to the way I'm gonna beat this faggot up. It's gonna be a hate crime. Crazy. The Silence K line was eh. The V-neck line was eh. K-Shine starts off this round talking about how, talking about why the fuck would Paz go by the name Passwords. Obviously, he changed his name to Pass after he battled Briggs Belvy, but that's, another story. But he goes by Pass now, but he used to go by Passwords. So K-Shine starts off his round talking about why would you go by the name Passwords, and then he did a flip where he was like, so it's because you're invisible, like what's the deal? So he gets into this whole little computer setup, Microsoft Start. It's dope. I liked it. It was like damn near his whole first round, but it was dope. One thing that I will say about the whole setup was Shine managed to use PowerPoint, Excel, Start, Program, Windows, Microsoft. He managed to use all that in his setup, which I thought was really, really dope. So then K-Shine had this really cool setup where he talked about how he did like a lowercase and an uppercase setup, in reference to passwords, and how he said that you can say that your caps, like you got big caps, whatever the case may be, but we all know that if you type in a password with all caps and that's not the password, that the password is invalid, which was a dope setup. So then K-Shine says the dumbest shit that I've heard in a battle recently, and he says Tupac was born in Cali, right? And K-Shine's from Harlem, and I think most niggas from Harlem know that Pac was born in Harlem. And what bothered me even more was the fact that Paz like shook his head in agreement. So yeah, anyway, I just thought that was worth noting. One thing that I will say about the Tupac setup is that I liked the Live and Die in LA ending. I thought that was cool. He dropped Notorious, and I thought that was cool too. So then he says to Paz, like, why would I be afraid of this West Coast shit? You think we supposed to be intimidated? And then he goes into this whole setup using Cali rappers. He used Trey Pound and Dog Pound, Snoop Dogg, Corrupt, all these different rappers, which was real dope. Then he used Chronic, Beats, Dre, and ended it off with a West Coast connection, which I thought was really, really dope. I liked that. After the first round, though, I gotta say that I gave, right now, I gave the first round to Shine. I just thought he was more clever. I thought the setups were really dope. And the angles that Pass used against Shine, even initially, are angles that people use on members of the Die Mob all the time. So yeah, it was kind of a personal round, but all the angles were obvious. All the angles were the same. It's shit we've heard in plenty of battles before. You ain't saying nothing new, nigga. And you was just getting that Shine because he don't ever say shit. So, you know, I gave this first round to Shine. So Password starts off his second round with this really cool rebuttal about how he said in his first round that K-Shine don't ever say shit, and it was evident because of the fact that the majority of his first round he was talking about some computer shit, which I thought was a cool rebuttal. Passwords gets into how Shine's been doing this since Smack was on VHS, which I thought was funny, and how he still ain't, you know what I'm saying, he still isn't really a star yet. And it was funny because he did this whole little setup where he was talking about how, you know, if you come out of pocket, you're going to have to come out your pocket and get pocket checked, which I thought was dope. Shit to say about Die Mob in his second round, like how he talked about how a bunch of niggas and all the different boroughs and kicked y'all asses, and how Mook got his ass kicked. Okay, we get it. Mook's been beaten up. So what? Who cares? Then he talked about oh boy getting his chain snatched and how it's a chain reaction. Now, I gotta say one thing. Even though this round irked me because of the fact that, like, Pass kept going in on Mook, his Harlem references, like how he, you know what I'm saying, said K-Shine is a Harlem shaking nigga, and while you was out doing the chicken noodle soup, Mook was, you know what I'm saying, getting hemmed up. I thought that was clever, even though the fact that, like, he's still talking about Mook irked me. I thought that was clever. So the funny shit in Pass's second round was how he talked about, y'all niggas packing the Mac in the back of the act. Nigga, if y'all was out somewhere and you saw Math, you would hand Mook a paper bag to breathe in, you know, while he was having a panic attack, which I thought was hilarious. Then Password says to Shine, well, I know it probably irks you that all niggas talk about when you battle is Mook and Rex, but let's be honest, that's all niggas really know you for. And how is it that K can shine when he's living in another man's shadow? Which was crazy. All I gotta say about Pass's second round was it was solid. I mean, like I said, he went through a lot of the same themes that niggas typically go through when they battle niggas like Shine and Tay-Rock, but solid shit. You know what I'm saying? Solid. It was all pretty solid. So I don't really know if you can call this a rebuttal or not, but K-Shine starts off his second talking about how, well, you know what I'm saying, I've been on some computer shit, and I'm finna be on some more computer shit because I'm going to talk to the crowd and let them know about your passwords. So I thought that was cute. It was dope. So he starts off by talking about Pass's battle against Hollow the Don, and he says he got murdered, and because of that, he got left in his past. And I thought that was dope. So then he talks about him battling Philly Swain and how, you know what I'm saying, he did the battle for free and still lost, and how because of that he's going backwards. Like I said, this setup is crazy. Passwords went against Iron Solomon and he got chewed up then, and then he ended it off with this Trayvon Martin line where he said, I hate watching a nigga in a hood get killed by a white bitch, which was wild. But I mean, of course, the next couple battles coming out, we're going to be hearing a ton of Trayvon Martin lines, but this one was pretty good. So then the last setup for Passwords, K-Shine says, well, you know what, I just sat up here and laid out all this shit for you, and running around with that backpack, rapping the way that you rap, you're always going to be underneath me like a username, which I thought was a, like I said, dope setup. And then he ended it with another Password setup where he talked about the fact that even if he had 19 characters, you know, he still wouldn't be strong enough. Goes back to like password strength and shit like that. Clever shit from K-Shine, I gotta say. Clever shit. And then K-Shine ends the round off by, you know, saying that Passwords, when he went against Daylight, told Daylight, nigga, you can't win a round without talking about a gun. And the entire round, K-Shine didn't say shit about a gun, which I gotta say is big for this nigga, because all these URL niggas, you know what I'm saying, be about the gun talk. So I can respect that. I'm gonna give the second round to K-Shine. I think that the computer setups were dope, and I can respect the fact that he didn't have to say no gun shit in order to say a lot of, you know what I'm saying, cool shit in his round. I really didn't care for him doing the whole passwords thing again, but I could fuck with it. I like that. So Pass starts off his third round, and he talks about the fact that if there's a God in heaven, why the fuck are you still alive and Big L is dead, which was crazy. Again, Password says, you know, K-Shine, you ain't saying shit. And then he flipped his slogan, zip him up, which was crazy. I like that. And then I liked how Pass brought up the fact that, like, over in Cali, I guess they use cousin blood like it's nothing. And how K-Shine's an actor, like a fake blood, which I thought was cool. So to start off, K-Shine started around. He did this real dope setup where he talked about Pass taking 2 L's and that putting his career at a standstill like cannabis, which was dope. I really, really liked that setup. The bisexual bypass line was funny, but I didn't really care for it. It's like, whatever. K-Shine could have kept that one. Then that make him eat a slug, fear factor shit. It's like, whatever, you know. So, I gave the third round to Pass. Okay, so with that being said, this battle was pretty average at best. It had its moments. B Magic versus Heartless definitely is a league and a half before this battle. Pass really didn't impress me that much in this battle. He said a lot of the same shit that niggas say when they battle against Stop Mob niggas, and just the fact that you went for the familiar angle is really, really disappointing. I gave the first 2 rounds, like I said, to K-Shine, and I gave the third round to Pass. I really don't see my opinion changing as far as who won it. Actually, it's kind of cool that K-Shine actually won one, because, you know, a lot of people, you know, got shit to say about K-Shine and K-Shine's ability to rap, but I gotta give him credit. Even though the computer shit was a bit redundant, it's way more redundant for a nigga to battle him and talk about everybody but him. Like, Pass spent a good bit of the battle talking about Mook getting beat up, which to me, it's just, you're beating a dead horse. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about that shit for real. So, like I said, the battle is out. Tell me what you think about the battle. Be sure to leave your opinion down in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see y'all in my next video. Peace.